is Kits and Zion. I'm Zdroik, joined by Chris. It is 6:44. Where you are right now? Are you up? Do you have enough coffee in you to do the show?
Relevant questions. I'm up. I'm semi-awake. Yeah, I'm just making a big coffee in my. This is Andrew coffee. So I'm gonna get this thing on, and I'll be back in business. Yeah, no, this is right around what we want here, but I think we got a couple good bets, and most importantly, last week we hit our parlay, so we're gonna look to try to do that again this week. And yeah, what's going on out there in Michigan?
All good. All good things in Michigan. It is not 6:45 in the morning, so that's positive right there. We've had some good weather, but yeah, as you said, tough bets. I think what stood out to me here, four of the top favorites are away from home, and that kind of makes things a little more difficult. You have Tottenham. Those odds have moved. Tottenham was the biggest favorite this week, but you got this nice handy cheat sheet, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 10-day trial. You can get this. You just got to click on the fan team cheat sheet. Just shows all 10 teams and, all 10 lineups as well on one page, which, you know what? You can't get that anywhere else. So shout out to RotoWire. Shout out to us, actually. So shout out to us on our team parlay. We're going to get another parlay. We're going to get some games. Chris has a busy day ahead of him, so hopefully we'll pick up the pace here. But, I always say that. It never happens, but I got a betting article out for Gameweek 3. You can check that out. Hit the sports betting page. So first up, the first game we're talking about, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, Fulham against Brentford. We always want to do one of the games that, it doesn't stand out in most people's minds. And this Fulham-Brentford game, it stood out to us. So we're picking this one. Two teams that have had, I'd say, pretty successful starts, all things considered, to after first two games here. But we got Fulham at home, are favored, plus 145, and then Brentford plus 190. As you can see in the odds, they actually haven't changed that much despite what has happened over their first two matches. And then you got over 2.5 goals, minus 105, under 2.5 goals, minus 115. Are you kind of surprised here that the odds actually haven't changed in the past 10 days? I guess since Brentford, took down Manchester United.
I guess I'm a little surprised, but I mean, Fulham have gotten two pretty good results here, for at least for Fulham. They've 2-2 against Liverpool. That's a great result, and then 0-0. That was at home, or I guess away at Wolves too, which is another good result. They went on the road in the Premier League, never easy for anybody, and they got a result. It was 0-0. They could have won it had Mitrovic finished that penalty. So it's like, yeah, maybe those odds are kind of in line with what we've seen, at least on the pitch. And then on the other hand, you could definitely argue that Brentford could be a little bit more favored, given that they drew Leicester City in the first match 2-2, and then just put a thrashing on Manchester United last Saturday when it was 4-0, 3-0 in the first half. So you could argue, Brentford could be a little bit more favored here, but I think that just the way that Fulham have came through with a couple of results in tough places, that's kind of why we haven't seen these move a whole lot.
Yeah, I kind of wanted Brentford to be actually a favorite. That have helped, as we'll see as we get into my bet here, because I am leaning on Fulham here. So I mean, we look at the results. Could have had a win at Wolverhampton, pretty solid right there. They got a point from Liverpool in the opener. And Brentford, I think most of this bet is kind of stretching out to where more than I want to, but I'm kind of going big in my bet. So I'll just put these on the screen here. I'm going Fulham money line. So I can't. My thought process on this was take Fulham to win. Fulham to win was plus 145, and it only made sense to take it over 1.5 goals because I don't think Fulham are going to win 1-0. So I'm just going to get better odds on this, and I'm going to take Fulham to win and over 1.5 goals at plus 110. You can get that at DraftKings. So again, I think it's pretty self-explanatory here that over 1.5 goals, it's fine. But Brentford, I think the thing is we look at their away results. They were down 2-0 at Leicester and kind of maybe fluky, maybe, sure they got those goals at Leicester, managed the draw. still not sold in their performances away from home. Thomas Frank is awesome. He's a great coach. I love his warm up speeches and all that. I do think that they ride their home fans a lot, and that's kind of where this bet is coming from. It's kind of tough taking Fulham, a recently promoted team, to win. But you look at Brentford away last season, you got the -9 goal differential, 9 losses from 19 matches. Seems like a stretch a little bit, but I do like Fulham. And I just want to point out that we pick these 3 matches that we talk about. They aren't our best bets. So we're picking 3 random matches. We have to find bets that we like for these. So I just want to give like a caveat here to the audience. Like, these are not our best bets overall the slate. These are our best bets for the random matches that we tend to select. So just want to throw that out there to the listener.
Adam, appreciate you giving out that caveat as we look at my 1-4-1 record here on the front of the screen.
A lot of transparency on this show.
Yeah. We're full transparency. We believe in that here on this show, and you can see Adam's 4-2 right there to start the season. So maybe you want to take a closer look at Fulham money line and over 1.5 goals at +210. Also, love the fact that you're giving out a +200 bet here. Typically we're kind of hovering a little bit lower than that just because from an odds perspective. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I mean, I felt like Brentford could have arguably been a bit more, what is it, +195, +185 money line?
Yeah, +190. Yep.
Yeah, well, Fulham is +145. I think I last saw. So while they're playing at home, Brentford's come out and they've gotten 2 big results, and they went away. I guess they were at home against Manchester United last weekend, but still, anytime, and we'll get into Manchester United, but it's like that's one of the biggest, I guess, on the broadcast they were saying one of the biggest wins in their club history, which is probably not false, but interesting enough. Anyways, for my bet here on this particular match, I went over 2.5 goals -110. In the first, Brentford, they've got 6 goals in their first 2 games, 4 against Manchester United, and then was it 2 against they had 2 against Leicester City. So
yeah,
Leicester City have shipped 6 goals in their first 2 games. Same with Manchester United. So they faced 2 backlines here who have not played great. And then Fulham, on the other hand, they've only allowed 2 goals, and that 2 goals was to Liverpool in the first game, and then they were held Wolverhampton to a shutout. So I think just based on the fact that Brentford's been involved in a couple games here where there's been a lot of goals, I like the over 2.5, and you get slightly better odds than the under 2.5, which is -115. Not a big huge change, but if you're looking at the 2, I think the over just makes a little bit more sense here. Yeah, but I'll leave it at that.
Agree with that. Another stat here. For last season, Brentford away matches had 18 more goals than their home matches. So that's pretty big. That's a big number.
Yeah.
Their defense just isn't as good away from home. Those games seem to be a little more open, and I like that bet too. You gave your bet for that may have been one of my other decisions there, but I like that as well. Next game we got. Sure, go ahead.
Real quickly here, I had one more thing to say. Dating back to last season, I forgot to say this in my original spiel. But dating back to last season, in Brentford's last 8 away matches, it's been the over 2.5 goals has hit in each game.
That's a good trend. That's a pretty good trend right there.
Leave it at that.
We just need we could take a 2-1 Fulham win, a 3-2 Fulham win. We'll take something like that. And I don't think
perfect.
I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility either. So
yeah, let the Kits and Wagers podcast eat.
Let's eat. Let's see to Sunday, Manchester City at Newcastle. Another match where, these odds haven't changed. I guess last week we were looking at odds from a month ago, and now the line movement only goes back about 10 days because we're getting changes every day kind of a thing as more people are betting here. We got Manchester City -275 to win at Newcastle, who are +750, and then the draw is +400. And over 2.5 goals, -170. Over 3.5 goals is +145. And under 2.5 goals, +130. I think we're kind of thinking the same thoughts. We haven't really talked about this, but what do you think? You think Newcastle are going to put up a fight in this spot?
I, I guess I do. Looking at this, I was doing a little research last night, and I was kind of looking at it. And first of all, I looked at the first two results from this season. Just to get a very small sample size, but to kind of understand how both teams have played. Newcastle have shut out their first two opponents in their first two games. So, they're obviously playing well. None of those teams are Manchester City, let's be clear. But I think it was Nottingham Forest and then Brighton. So two teams not great from an attacking perspective. And then City, of course, have shut out both West Ham and Bournemouth. And then another factor in that is, on this little RotoWire.com, we got this handy little cheat sheet. You can kind of look down at what teams have conceded. And I was just looking at the amount of scoring chances that have been conceded by both teams. Classically, what we expect from Manchester City is that they don't concede many scoring chances. They're averaging 3 scoring chances conceded per 90 minutes. And as I mentioned, Bournemouth and West Ham, not the greatest attacks. While Newcastle have allowed 6 scoring chances per 90 minutes. And that's to Nottingham Forest and Brighton. So either team really letting the opposing side into their box and giving them great chances to score. So that when I looked at that, I was like, oh man, I might have to bet the under here, and that the under 2.5 is plus 130. But then when you look at the previous results, which has been just a bit of a bloodbath, we've had last season we had a 5-0 and 4-0 for Manchester City, so the over 3.5 hit twice, and then prior to that it was 3-4, 2-0, 5-0. So I think four of the last 6 matches we've had over 3.5 goals. So I guess all in all, I would say that I'm not quite sure, but I historically we like the fact that the overs have hit consistently, while Newcastle has played well from a defensive perspective in their first 2 games. All that said, I think Newcastle are they're a different team, so it's a lot like. And I've spoken way too long about this already, but it's a lot like when you first go to college. You get in your first semester, and I'm referring to Newcastle's, new ownership, new manager, back to last season. You don't know how to manage your time. You don't know how to be a real adult. And then now you get into your second semester, you're starting to realize, okay, like I have to go do this. I got to do this then. This is due then. And so now that they've had a manager and they've had, a solid backing from the ownership, I feel like they're kind of a new team. We're expecting different things from them, and I don't think it's out of line to expect them to at least hang with Manchester City on Sunday, and that's why I'm going Newcastle plus 1.5. You're getting minus 130, so the bet isn't. You're not going to go home and take the Brinks truck out, but I still think that Newcastle can at least lose by 1 goal here, and you're going to get it minus 130. So sorry that I went on way too long there, but that's all to say that I think Newcastle's playing a little bit better than they have in the past, and there's a variety of reasons for that.
Yeah, let's take the Brinks truck out. Yeah, I changed my bet. Good thing you talked a long time because I had to update the graphic. So in my article, I'll give a secret to my article. I took under 2.5 goals, and I originally put under 3.5 goals as under 3 goals as like a safe bet at minus 130. And then I decided those things are too close. So my goal here is not to use the same bets on this show that I have in my article. So this is completely different. I'm going no on both teams to score. And this is basically going with Manchester City to win 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. I do agree with Chris's bet, though. I do think Newcastle are going to put up a fight. That's kind of why I think I like the under 2.5, but this is kind of some safety here. So in case Man City do get, a 3-0 win, that I am kind of safe here with knowing both teams to score. Obviously, if Newcastle get one, then that kind of changes things. But I think Newcastle are going to play better than what we saw last season. It was 5-0 when these teams last met. But Newcastle, much better team at home. They were at Brighton last week and didn't really look like the same Newcastle team we saw in the first week as we've seen at home this season. I guess it's only been one match. But going back to last season, they put up a fight against Liverpool when they're at home. They took it to Arsenal at home at the end of last season. I think Newcastle put up a fight here. I think it's going to be kind of a rock fight. I don't think Manchester City are going to get a lot of quality looks. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. But knowing both teams to score, hoping that, Newcastle don't get a counter goal late or something like that if it's 2-0, and hoping they don't get a late goal, something like that. Similar to what, Everton did against Aston Villa last week and kind of lost Chris one of his bets. Sorry to remind you of that one. But
that was a little bit heartbreaking, but that's okay. That's the game.
Yeah. So, I think if we can get a 1-0 result, and that'll hit for us. But that's the only result, I believe. That I guess if it's a scoreless draw, we can win that one as well. So it's gonna be a tight one for both of us to win. But there are ways for that to happen.
Yeah. And if you're thinking, just because we've hyped Newcastle up with their recent results, if you're thinking about taking them, I honestly would totally avoid that. Just because, looking back, the last time Newcastle got a draw even was November of 2019. And you got to turn back the clock even further for the last time Newcastle actually beat Manchester City. Last time that happened was in October of 2014. That was in the League Cup, and just looking at the lineups here, it's kind of wild. A little walk down memory lane, but Rolando Aarons got the winner, or he got a goal and a 2-0 result for Newcastle. And funny enough, but James Milner was in the starting 11 for Manchester City that day.
Wow. Another note, I think it was from my article. Last 11 home matches for Newcastle, they haven't allowed more than one goal. I'm saying that off of memory. It could be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure it's correct. So
go to Adam's article if you need.
It's correct in the article. Yes, just go there.
Yeah.
So the next match is I didn't say this earlier, but so Chris has his Liverpool kit, his Liverpool mug. I knew we were talking about this match, so I got this out. I got the Vodafone Manchester United, but also I have a cup here.
Oh,
a
my
Manchester
goodness.
United cup. Wow. I'm not even a Manchester United fan, but that's the kind of Premier League support that we have on the show. So we got
Good Lord.
we got Liverpool.
I'll get into it in a second.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Liverpool, this one has changed a little bit. About 10 days ago, Liverpool were minus 145, and then it went to minus 235. Now they're minus 170. I assume after the Darwin Núñez red card, after another draw for them, and then we got Manchester United to win at home, plus 425. Draw is plus 340. Over 2.5 goals is minus 195, so that's nothing right there. But over 3.5 goals, plus 125, and under 2.5 is plus 145. So what are your thoughts on this game? Liverpool, couple draws. Manchester United just got blown out against Brentford, and it seems like Manchester United are in the same position as they were last season. So Erik ten Hag, it has not worked for him. This one is kind of hard because is Ronaldo going to start after what happened last match? Who's going to start for Manchester United? I guess they can't really change too many things up. We could see like Malacia start, the young left back for Luke Shaw. We could see Lisandro Martinez removed from the starting 11. Is Roberto Firmino, is he healthy enough to start? We got some questions here. And so that's the main thing. What are your thoughts here for Liverpool?
We're coming away with more questions than we are answers at this point. There's been so many words said about Manchester United. I feel like in a number of different podcasts that it's like we can't say enough about it right now. But Lisandro Martinez at center back, 5'8". Prior to Darwin Núñez getting sent off against Crystal Palace Monday, I was like frothing at watching him play against Lisandro Martinez. But we're not going to get that opportunity. We'll probably have to wait for a little bit later in the season. And also Harry Maguire, everyone's least favorite center back. But first of all, Adam's just trolling me here. He's got the Manchester United kit on, and then he's got the the mug going there too, or the pint glass. Notably not filled with beer at 10 o'clock local.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
maybe he's already tossed one back. But yeah. So I'm curious to see. It looks like Bobby Firmino's probably going to start. He's coming back from an injury, so I'll be curious. I'll be interested to see if he actually plays a full 90. I doubt it. And then who they bring on, maybe Carvalho or comes on and plays a significant amount from the wing.
Carvalho.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. He hasn't got enough playing time.
Just call him Fabio.
Yeah, Fabio, yeah. Incredible hair. He's Bruno Mars lookalike. But yeah, so we'll see if he comes on or if they stick Salah up top. I think they've done that a little bit when Mane has been out in the past. But yeah, I mean, last season it was 5-0, 4-0 Liverpool. And I think for me personally, I just don't know what to expect from this game as a whole. Manchester United are obviously struggling. They, the Fred McTominay midfield feels like it might get dominated. But on the other hand, Liverpool have also struggled to start the season. I mean, 2-2 against Fulham, and then the 1-1 result on Monday against Crystal Palace, where Darwin Núñez was sent off. I will say, I guess the expected goals for that game, Liverpool had like over 4 goals, expected goals. Obviously, that stat's not for everybody, but I think it's an important context. So they're still getting those opportunities. They maybe just aren't finishing in them. But if I'm going to get into my bet here, because we have no idea about what we actually think about this game, I'm going to stick to something that we know well, and that's Mohamed Salah scoring goals. He's at -120, which I thought was pretty friendly. In the past, Salah has scored. I was looking at it last season. I think he scored 2 goals in the later fixture, and then in the first fixture, he scored 3 goals and provided an assist. So he's got 5 goals against Manchester United last season. I'd have to go back to the season before, but let's stick to a player that we know. And with Darwin Núñez out, with no more Sadio Mane, a little bit unclear what Liverpool are going to do up front if Bobby Firmino is not able to go. Let's stick with Mohamed Salah scoring goals, something that we all know so well. So that's -20. That's my bet.
I'm actually going to give you better odds here.
Really?
Just see,
Nice.
So at FanDuel, you can get +100 for Salah to score. So there you go.
Ooh, we like that.
Yeah, it seems kind of low. He has. I'm looking at one of our cheat sheets right now. He has worse odds to score than Jamie Vardy, home against Southampton, and worse odds to score than Harry Kane and Son. So there you go. And I guess Haaland. Haaland, it seems like he's going to have the best odds to score every week, no matter who Manchester City play. But he's -155 at Newcastle. So
yeah.
But yeah, for my bet, I believe in my article I took. Actually, I'm not going to say it. That's a secret. You got to read my article to find out what that bet is.
But, what a teaser!
This one is kind of. I think it must have been last week when we talked Liverpool Crystal Palace when I liked your bet more than my under 2.5, and then my under 2.5 hit. So maybe I should have faith in my actual picks here. But both teams to score. No draw. So this is kind of counting on Manchester United to score, which is kind of the iffy thing in this one. So this bet means it's going to be 2-1 either side, 3-2 either side kind of a thing. And, that kind of goes against these opening Liverpool draws. But I think Liverpool have the advantage here, even away from home. We still don't know what we're getting from Manchester United on a game-to-game basis. So the one thing that worries me here is that, Erik ten Hag, I don't know, I guess he tries to tell his team to play better defense and they play more defensive. That's why I'm kind of not betting on that to work, even if they try to do that. So let's go. Both teams to score, no draw, +120. You used to get better odds with these, but just because of the high over-under on this one, the high implied goal total, you only get +120. I like Mo Salah to score +100. It seems like your bet is better, but
we said that last week though,
yeah.
And I don't put that juju on me like I did something smart.
Yeah. All right. I won't say anything, but +120. I was hoping for like plus 150 on this, but we'll see. We'll get the Salah brace, and we'll get Ronaldo to score. We'll get like a 2-1 Liverpool win, 3-1 win, something like that. I'm just hoping like that the lack of attacking options for Liverpool doesn't hurt them completely. We also didn't mention the Joe Gomez / Nathaniel Phillips situation on the Liverpool back line, which obviously a downgrade when you're going from guys like Kanate, guys like Joel Matip on the back line, going to Joe Gomez, who, he played fullback last season, to Nathaniel Phillips, who was on loan last season. So I think that does help, guys like Ronaldo and whoever up front for Manchester United. So
two things about that, Adam. I'm glad you mentioned it, first of all, because I had Crystal Palace, or I had both teams to not score in that Palace-Liverpool game last week. Had I known that Nathaniel Phillips was in the starting 11, maybe I think twice about that. But, we're out here. We're always recording on a Thursday morning, getting after it. And, I didn't know that. So whatever. Anyways, also, another part of that is put some respect on Joe Gomez's name, okay?
He played fullback last season.
Well, he also played center back when they won the Premier League and conceded the least amount of goals. So
that was that was a different Premier League. It's a different league now, okay?
Yeah, okay, different league, whatever. But they ran away with the Premier League, So, and they were the featured pairing at center back there. So let's not act like Joe Gomez hasn't played center back before.
I apologize.
Yeah, all right, let's back it up. But yeah, so those are my 2 points. Respect on Joe Gomez's name and Nathaniel Phillips as our fifth center, as the Liverpool fifth center back. Maybe you see him in the starting 11, and you're like, I might take both teams to score.
Last week it was respect on Luka Milivojevic's name, and now it's respect on Joe Gomez's name.
Okay, and then he came in that game and absolutely destroyed somebody on a tackle. So like I said, I'm 1 for 1 on respect. I'm giving respect.
All right. Well, this could mean a Liverpool, win to 0 or something like that. But all right, so we have our team parlay. Last week I should write these down. I can't remember. I had Nottingham Forest double chance. Someone commented that they had no faith in Nottingham Forest to do anything against West Ham. They won. Nottingham Forest won 1-0. I took them double chance. It was a great bet by me. And then, Chris, you took something that I can't remember.
I'm trying to remember. It was another minus 155 bet. I've gone back to back on my minus 155 bets. I had Newcastle the first week. And then, what was it?
Was it Leeds double chance?
Yeah, it was. No, was it? Would it have been them against Southampton? It might have been Leeds minus 155 double chance. I think you're right.
Okay, so we had a couple double chances. This week, the double chances aren't really there. Like you're looking at the screen, I mentioned it earlier. It's just not the same. You got all these road favorites, away favorites. All the top teams are away from home, and they're favored. That doesn't really lead to a lot of good double chance bets unless you want to go against Manchester City, unless you want to go against Liverpool. You want to go with Bournemouth against Arsenal, unless you want to do something crazy like that. So
Leeds against Chelsea is the only one I would entertain.
Yeah, and then even then,
plus 160. That's the only one I'd entertain.
Yeah. So
not great.
As Chris knows, I had a lot of conversations with myself about what I was going to take here. I believe I initially had over on Leeds, Chelsea, the over 2.5 goals. But 2 weeks ago, I had Leicester City to win. They're up 2-0. Let it, it just didn't work out. This week, I'm still going Leicester City. You know what? They're home against Southampton. Southampton haven't been too impressive. Another game that they were down 2-0. Southampton was, and then they came back, and this was at home. They were down 2-0 at home against Leeds. Not a great sign. They didn't show much against Tottenham before that, and then I think it was the last match of last season where Leicester City won 4-1 in this spot. So that's a pretty good sign right there. I like Leicester City. They just really haven't put – I don't know. They just haven't put things together. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I like them to win. I don't like Southampton. I don't like the way they're playing. I'm not sure about their defense. Their defense is still a mystery. They had a lot of issues last season. And last stat I'll give here, They had a minus 23 goal differential away from home last season. They lost 10 of 19 away matches. And there you go. That's the stat. Leicester City money line minus 115. Chris, you're going Tottenham. Explain yourself.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna back up here though first. Also, another interesting bet in this game is over 3.5 plus 160 goals in that Leicester City match, because I guess there's three teams that have conceded or averaging 3 goals conceded per match, and that's Southampton. What was the other one? I'm looking at our handy dandy cheat sheet. Southampton, Leicester, and Manchester United have all conceded 6 goals through 2 games here, so keep an eye on that. Also, yeah, here I am, Tottenham minus 1.5 plus 110 to add to our parlay, which gives us a 292. Tottenham so far, they beat Southampton 4-1, and then of course we had that riveting 2-2 draw against Chelsea last weekend, where the off the field was a little bit more riveting than the actual match. I mean, we didn't get any action till kind of basically later in the match. But they're facing a Wolves side who news just broke this morning that I guess Wolverhampton are absolutely fleecing. This is no disrespect to Morgan Gibbs White, but they're getting £45 million for him from Nottingham. So I feel like, didn't Calvin Phillips go for like 55 or around that same amount?
I don't know what's going on. We'll see if that amount's correct, but it doesn't seem right.
We are getting this from the Athletic, whom I trust for my news sources, but maybe that's like add-ons and performance bonuses and stuff like that. So maybe it's like a lower fee with add-ons. But anyways, Wolves are selling a guy who started their first 2 matches, and they're without a couple other guys who are typically in their back line. Meanwhile, Tottenham's attack obviously didn't, they still scored 2 goals last weekend, but they didn't look as good as they did against Southampton, to be expected against Chelsea. But I think Tottenham are going to run away with this one. So I'm taking them minus 1.5 for plus 110 odds. Last season, let's see how they, I have to remind myself how they did again. I think Wolves might have taken a result against them actually, but Wolves, they took them 2-2 in the League Cup, 2 penalties, and then they beat them 2-0, and then Tottenham won 1-0. So, but I think Tottenham, another season, a little bit full preseason under Antonio Conte here. I think that they'll win this one by at least 2 goals, and that's why we're going to get that 1-0 plus 110. What are your thoughts on that, Adam? I'm kind of shying away from what I've done in the past here. I had 2 minus 155 bets on our parlays, and now I'm going plus 110.
I like it. I think Tottenham, they're going to get the opportunities, and it just depends if they're going to convert them or not. That's kind of like this Wolves team. They're going to play defensive. It's just not going to. They're not going to get opportunities themselves just the way they play. I mean, they've been doing a 4-2-3-1 to start the season. Last season it was a lot of 3-4-2-1, 3-4-3 kind of a thing. So it's like Bruno Lage changed up the formation, and I'm not sure that's working right now. They let Connor Cody go. They're just riding Collins and Kilman in the back. Collins was basically a backup center back for Burnley last season. He got starts because Ben Mee and Tarkowski were injured, that kind of a thing. So they're relying on a relegated center back, Kilman, in a new formation. They're letting Gibbs White go. I know they brought in Goncalo Guedes from Valencia. They brought in Matheus Nunez from Sporting Lisbon. They're adding guys. Joe Montinho, we'll see if he's healthy enough to start here. So we got questions. They're already not a deep team. They sub probably the least amount in the league. It just depends if Kane and Son are going to put those goals in. And yeah, that's what it comes down to. I think they will. I think they will, because they will get the opportunities. They scored 39 goals at home last season. They averaged 2 goals a match. And I think if they get 2 goals in this match, I think that'll be enough, because I'm not going to bet on Wolverhampton to score. So, Team Parlay. Let's go 2-1 after this.
Let's do it to him. Let's see if we get Heung-min Son off the schneid here. He's scoreless in his first 2. He's minus or plus 105 on the anytime goal scoring odds.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. He actually was substituted against Chelsea and Kulishevsky was not last week because Richarlison came on. So I guess that's something to keep an eye on with Tottenham going forward. It seems like Son isn't there for the guaranteed 90 minutes anymore because of Richarlison, and we'll see how that plays out. But there's a chance that it's Kulishevsky and Richarlison swapping minutes going forward. But that's all we got. Again, Team Parlay, Leicester City money line combined with Tottenham -1.5. That's plus 292 odds. And I will say we're 1-1 on our parlay, but our goal is a minimum of plus 200 on all of these parlays. That means even though we're 1-1, we're still up money because we hit on, I think it was a plus 221 odds last week. Going forward, or maybe after about 4 or 5 weeks, I am keeping track of our money results as well. So maybe I'll put those in the graphic at some point. But yeah, we're up 100 or something bucks on our parlays, and Chris is not up on his other bets, but that's how it goes. But Chris,
actually, we appreciate the reminder, Adam. We really do. Adam hit me up earlier this week, and I forgot what you said. You're like, "Oh, but you missed your bets this weekend." I was like, and this is in the middle of the Liverpool game, so I'm like, "Okay, Adam, really needed to know that right now, right after Wilf Zaha just netted."
Yeah, Zaha. Speaking of Zaha, I'm still riding the Zaha golden boot bet. He's got one, so we're getting closer. We're getting closer by the match. But rotowire.com/soccer trial, you can get everything. You can get our cheat sheets. You can get all this good stuff, lineups, injuries, weather. Chris, thanks for joining me again. The goal is always 6-0 on our bets, 1-0 on our parlay, a 7-0 week for kits and wagers. We'll get there. We have 38 chances to do that, and I think we can do it at least once. So every week we'll just hope for it. So,
yep.
Chris, you are at CHROwen8 on Twitter. I am at RotoZdroik. Thanks for watching. If you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube or Twitter, make sure to hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And this will be, as usual, in your podcast feed. Make sure to, leave us some reviews on Apple. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. It's fine. We can take the criticism, okay? We are transparent here as well. We do show our records. We do show our wins and losses. But Chris, you have to start your day at 7:28 a.m. You have to start your day. But thanks for joining me, and we'll see everyone next week.
Thanks, Adam.